What about the guy from Last Crusade? Like in the really old guys. It was the
You have chosen one.
The American guy. The American guy who sides with the Nazis.
I told you not to trust anyone, Dr. Jones. Hey, that was Donovan? Hey, wasn't he in Game of Thrones too? Because I saw him as one of the monk dudes. Yes, he was in Game. He was Maester Pycelle.
He was Grand. Holy shit!
That's how but I totally didn't peg him for Indiana Jones though, dude.
I didn't know he was Grandmaster Pycelle with that fucking beard. That's crazy. Because he was in so much of Game of Thrones, and I never realized that was him.
Wasn't he the blind one, or no?
No. He was the one in King's Landing. The one who pretended to be all super and like old and decrepit.
Oh, right, yes.
And then, like, one time you see him, like, screwing some whore, and then, like, he just gets up and he's all, like, spry and shit, and walking around.
Doing
like,
leg lifts and knee bends.
Yeah, exactly. And then you see him, like, put on his robe, put on the chain. He walks up to the door, and then he's like, yeah, I was like, this motherfucker was sandbagging like a mofo.
In a world of bad movies, two follically challenged men will stop at nothing to share their opinions of them. Their wives are tired of listening. But are you? This isn't the podcast you deserve, but it's the one you need. Prepare yourself for Bald Guys and Bad Movies.
Welcome to Bald Guys and Bad Movies, episode 56. I am Troy.
Troy, cut it out!
Back here with my buddy,
Mike Stella.
We made it.
We're back.
And we were in a Russian gulag.
I know.
Biden, he negotiated.
Got us back. Although they just had to only like three international arms dealers to get us back.
Thank you for your letters. We read all the letters and we appreciate it. Oddly, I gained weight and Mike lost a lot of weight. So, or is it?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well,
that would have been nice, but no,
I did hog all the rat meat.
There's a scene in Lethal Weapon 2 where they're gonna go talk to Leo Getz is gonna have them talk to whoever the hell they need to talk to.
Okay,
and he's
like, Leo Getz. Okay.
Riggs is like, we're back, we're bad, you're black, I'm mad.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go, Raj.
No, we shouldn't go.
Let's go. Come on, Raj, don't be a killjoy. Come on, we're back. We're bad. You're black. I'm mad. Come on, let's go.
Come on. Oh,
Hey, listen, if we're going, shouldn't I have a gun?
no.
So yeah, we've been gone for a while, Mike.
Yeah,
we're
back.
A lot of things and stuff happened.
Yep.
First, let me apologize. I did say, what was it, the last episode? Well, next time we do a hiatus, I'll be sure to do a special message, and I didn't do a special message.
Yeah, it's all good.
I had my cruise, and then I got back and got immediately sick. Pulled a leg muscle.
And I was sick too.
Mike got sick.
I literally got sick, got over being sick, and then got sick like as I was getting better from my other illness.
Bonus sickness.
It was insane. I was sick for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it was absolutely awful. I was so ready to stop being sick.
You didn't have COVID, right?
No, well, I mean, I took 3 COVID tests, negative COVID. I didn't have strep throat.
Well, since COVID, like regular ass virus and germs are like, fuck this shit, motherfucker. You ain't gonna take my booty. Those are my bitches, and it comes back and it lingers. Like this.
I think 1.5 years of us not getting sick. 2 years of no one. I didn't get sick for 1.5 years.
Yeah,
I didn't get sick for 1.5 years.
It was glorious.
And it was amazing. But now every time I get sick, it's like I am laid the fuck out, dude.
Well, I know why I got
laid
sick.
Out.
Like on that fucking ship, everywhere we went, on the buses in Alaska,
coughing, sneezing.
And I just had to like tamper down my OCD, gremlin. It's like, oh my God. I'm like, nope. Take a deep breath. Just breathe
Suck
it in. Yep, it's going to happen. And Logan was the first one that went down. I'm like, yeah,
oh, man.
Give me that snotty tissue, boy. I'm going to chew it. Come on, let's get it on. Sorry, Mike's mom. Did you miss us?
And Mom, you didn't bug me about it. You didn't give me a hard time. Like, when are you gonna do another episode? I'm like, what the hell? Like Mom doesn't even care anymore.
Oh,
thanks, Mom.
You don't get a second chance with Mom. She's like, well, fuck those motherfuckers. Whatever. He promised
She'll laugh her ass off at that.
He promised me a special message if you're gonna take a hiatus, and he didn't give me that. Fuck him. All right, Mike. Well, what are we reviewing this week?
We are reviewing The Wonderful World of Tar.
You want to dance the mask, you must service the composer.
How's the writing going?
Not so well. I keep hearing something.
Schopenhauer measured a man's intelligence against his sensitivity to noise.
Do you ever find yourself overwhelmed by emotion?
Yes. Yes, that does happen.
Tar.
Was it like trudging through tar? Like being like the La Brea tar pits?
La Brea tar pits. Tar. Things stuck in tar. Things sluggishly moving. Things not moving forward. Sometimes not moving at all. Sometimes you can't even... You look in tar, you don't know what the fuck you're looking at.
I'm not gonna lie though.
That's what tar is.
I was actually kind of compelled for the first, like, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. Like, and when it started out, I was like, okay, this is kind of boring and weird. Like when just the interview portion, when she's on the stage interviewing with the dude. But as it got into it a little bit more, it was a little bit more compelling, and I like music, and I thought there was some interesting stuff. I did like the fact that it didn't like spoon feed you stuff.
Wait.
Okay, sorry.
So,
I got ahead of myself. I'm so happy to be back. I just can't contain my review.
You're popping a review, Woody over there.
And only you can see it, Troy.
I'm trying to remember what we do. Do we recommend or do I describe what tar is?
No, you do. You read the synopsis.
Okay.
I love how we can't even remember how to do this shit anymore.
Wow.
Read the synopsis, then we say whether or not we recommend it, and then we dive into our, useless.
We are fickle lovers, out of bed, out of mind. Tar is a 2022 psychological drama written and directed by Todd Field. Cate Blanchett stars as Lydia Tar, a world-renowned conductor facing accusations of misconduct. And there's a supporting cast. I don't feel like reading through all the fucking names. Julian Glover was in this, though? Oh, that Julian Glover. I'm thinking of something else. Someone else.
Donald Glover?
No, the guy that went missing. Julian Sands.
I don't know.
He went hiking and went missing. I don't think they ever found him. So that was a description of Tar. Mike, would you recommend Tar?
It's hard for me to recommend it because it was really long and it was kind of boring at times. There's so many other good, like more entertaining, and it wasn't that entertaining. That's the thing. I watch a movie, I want to be entertained. Are you not entertained? No, I wasn't. I wasn't entertained. But
was it compelling?
It was compelling at times. I will say I definitely thought that we were going to get into the meat of it a little bit sooner.
And not the last 30 fucking minutes.
Yeah, that was really weird to me.
Folks, this is a 2 hour and 38 minute movie.
Yeah.
And the plot really doesn't really kick in until the 2 hour mark.
Yeah, it's really weird. I thought that was the biggest misstep. There was certain things I found really interesting, but it was really just like a character piece. You know what I mean? It was really just showing you who this person is. And Cate Blanchett did an amazing job. Well, and, you know what I mean? And like it was extremely well acted by everyone.
If I may hop in, character piece with Cate Blanchett, sign me up. Like that on paper. And
I think that's why I liked it today. That's why I it's hard for me to not recommend it as well. You know what I mean?
Well, the movie itself, it's so centered around Cate Blanchett. It lives and dies on performance. She's Cate Blanchett. Yeah. I mean, she's going to give you a great performance.
Yep.
The problem is, like you said, the plot, the idea, the concept of someone being canceled, the concept of the fall from grace. Right. Of an amazing maestro, of a woman in a man's dominated field who becomes just like men in those powerful positions, taking advantage of it.
Right.
All of that is fascinating. I wish it would have used the first 2 hours exploring that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not her fucking jogging and hearing phantom sounds.
And they introduced it. And they introduced the situation so early in the movie. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then like, okay, I'm like 30 minutes in, I'm 30 minutes more. I'm like, okay, they haven't talked about it yet. I'm like, an hour more? I was like, it still hasn't happened? I'm like, an hour and a half? Holy shit, when's this gonna, like, when's she gonna get canceled? I heard it was about her getting canceled, and she hasn't gotten canceled yet. And she's kind of a dick, but at the same time, like, I felt like the worst part of the situation was the fact that she got canceled for, like, what really triggered it was bullshit.
Was, her interaction with the student that was clearly re-edited. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be a fucking moron not to see that was a re-edit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think they were tired of her to begin with. Like, I think she was getting on people's nerves, and they probably just used it as an excuse to, like, get her the fuck out of there because they didn't want her around anymore.
Right.
Because she was kind of a dick.
So I don't recommend this film. It was painful for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was excruciating. And I recommended us doing this film.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wanted to see this film. And look, I don't need fast pace. I enjoy character pieces. But for God's sakes, the pretension that you notice, they show the end credits in the beginning. They showed it in reverse.
What the fuck was that?
And it was literally 5 minutes, it felt like, of credits. And I knew I was in trouble then. That smack of fucking pretension. I'm like, okay, movie, I'll give you that. Whatever that meant.
And then they ran him again at the end.
Yes. What the fuck point did that serve, Mike?
I am told. Look,
other than filleting yourself, director Todd Field.
Dude, what has he ever even done?
He's a darling. I mean, he's done like Little Children, In the Bedroom.
Oh my God. More Like This, and you know what it recommended on IMDb for More Like This?
What?
Banshees of Inisherin. Fucking bullshit.
That is a disservice to Banshees.
Yeah, it is. That's
and
not
I'm glad they recommend, because that is a perfect example of a character study. Because if you describe the plot of Banshees, it sounds like it's about nothing. Like, that's it? Two friends have a falling out?
Mm-hmm.
But that is you're missing the point of that film. It is layer and layer of character development and tension and unraveling of a friendship. And that, if Tar, for me, had that approach with this character, it would have been a fascinating journey. I don't think it would have needed 2 hours and 38 fucking minutes to tell it. I think you probably could have got it down to 2 hours, a solid 2 hours, but the concept is, I would still like to see a movie that addresses that. Just not one loaded with pretentious bullshit.
Right.
That's going to waste your time. And it's one thing to be ambiguous to the point where you're just confusing.
Absolutely.
And dull. And I felt like that's what it was. Let you figure it out. And I looked up on YouTube, what do other people think about this? And, on the web, and it's brilliant. And
no.
Yes, there's a lot of people that fucking loved it. And
7.5 out of 10.
Where's that at?
On fucking IMDb. Give me a break. Banshees only has 7.7.
Mm.
Oh my God.
Maybe
this shit is fucking garbage.
Well,
I mean, look, I didn't even mind it that much, but like, it was not worth what it was. Like, this is a movie that if I went to the movie theater, I'd have fucking fallen asleep.
Exactly, sure. I would have been pissed.
Only reason I didn't fall asleep was because I watched it during the day. Like, if I had watched it like late at night, no way I'd have been able to sit through this shit.
I joked to Robin because it's so fucking long. She eventually was sitting in the room. And then she was like, after like 30 minutes, because she was halfway paying attention, she's like, what is this movie about? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. But I was like, I bet fucking Mike, I wonder how many loads of laundry he's done.
Laundry, I wonder what's the laundry meter
is he
on
now
this?
To his drapes? Is he washing his fucking drapes? Is he like shampooing his carpet to stay awake? I had no expectations of Tar. It's not like I was anticipating Tar. It's not like Tar let me down. It was just, I felt like 2.5 hours wasted. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Like
like I said, I didn't think it was wasted. There was certain parts I thought were pretty damn interesting.
Let's talk about those parts.
Compelling.
Let's talk about those parts.
Like I don't know. Like I really, before I got to the point where I was like, why the fuck haven't we started getting her canceled yet? Mm-hmm. Which was probably about an hour. I got to about an hour in before I was like, what?
And by the way, going in, I didn't even know about the cancel angle.
That's all I knew. That's all I knew.
I didn't even know that. And the reason I stopped when Robin asked me that, she looked it up for me, what this movie is supposed to be a fucking about. Then I'm like, oh, okay. And it was even more stark. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm over an hour into this.
I really liked watching her in rehearsals. Like, I really enjoyed the rehearsals. I thought they were awesome. Like, I thought it was so much fun to watch and so interesting to see, like, to see her finding the piece and, like, you know, and because I love music and I love, you know, I love orchestras. Like, I think it's insane to think that you can get that many people to do the right thing at the right time just by waving your fingers around.
Well, I don't want to come off like a caveman, but Robin and I had a little conversation, and she was like, "You're just a dumbass." But
what?
I'm trying to understand the value of the conductor. I know technically what they do. I know what the purpose they serve. If a conductor writes their own music and they're there to guide it, that's one thing.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Have you been in a choir?
No, I haven't been in a choir. No.
Have you been in
I have not participated
band or have you ever had to be conducted?
No.
Then that's why you don't understand it.
Explain. What is the importance?
They are there to teach you what you're supposed to be doing in the moment, and you rehearse that, right? Mm-hmm. But on the day is where they're really important because they are the ones who get you to do it. So if you get off into your head thinking about a particular part, she's the one that draws you back. She's the one that brings you back, and you're reading her facial expressions, her body language, her gestures. Yeah, it actually, because I was in, I did like 6 years of choir, back in the day, and so
choir, it's all in. You're not really even reading music at that point, right? Like, the song you're singing, so someone telling you to bring it up. Actually, I can see that, right? Like,
they have the music in front of them, correct? But they have learned the music to where the music is there just for
quick reference,
a guide, quick reference if they need it. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, they know the music pretty damn well by that point, and so they're putting most of their attention to the conductor, I would say. Mm-hmm. You have to watch them, you have to connect with them, like. They get you to do what you need to do in order to make it sound the way that conductor thought it should sound.
So the way it's written, say that same conductor has composed the music, the composition. They've written it to sound the way they want it to sound.
But but you can write it and you can have like it's. See, that's the whole thing, Troy, is like...
I'm not saying that it's bullshit. You can have... I'm trying to understand. No,
I know, and I'm trying... and I know, and I appreciate the fact that you actually are trying to understand. I can see that you don't think it's bullshit, and that you want me to try and help you figure it out. And look, I mean, I only did it for 6 years. You know what I mean?
Well, so, I mean,
I'm not...
Time,
in high school and middle school.
Right,
you know what I mean? But also, I never played an instrument. It was always choir.
But it gave you a feeling. It helped you to harness. So
she tells you to bring it down. She tells you to bring it up. She tells you to hold it back if you're getting a little carried away with yourself.
Okay.
And all those same things are true in playing an instrument. You can play it loud. You can play it soft. You can play it, you can play it staccato. You can play it smooth. You know what I mean? Like, you can do all these different things the way you play it. And yes, a lot of that is written in the music, but ultimately it's the conductor needs to make sure that everyone is where they're supposed to be at any given moment.
Okay.
It truly is, in my opinion, something that is absolutely necessary.
It helps especially speaking to someone who's been conducted.
Yeah.
I've never spoken to anyone who's, because from outsider looking in, it looks amazing, right? And I know it has value, but then I'm like, well, if that passion is on page, they just play what's there. And maybe I don't know enough about writing music, because maybe there are levels that you just, maybe it's like a script. The script is written, but you need a director. You need someone to help.
That's a pretty good analogy there, I would say. What did she say? What was Robin's opinion on it?
I'm a fucking unrefined moron.
Oh, Jesus.
And I think in the moment, I was so frustrated with this fucking movie.
You were just annoyed.
I was just annoyed. Everything annoyed me. And, I love the arts, and I love music, and whatever. I did enjoy the process parts.
Yeah, that stuff was really good.
I actually liked the opening interview. I found that compelling.
You know what? I actually, at first, I was like, oh, God. But then as it got into it, I actually started to like it.
I thought it was a smart exposition dump. Like, once that, it was a long thing, but you got a really great sense of how established and renowned this person is, right?
Yeah.
So I actually enjoyed it. And the process of conducting, the process of an orchestra, the behind-the-scenes stuff, all that stuff was interesting. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and what I thought was kind of interesting too was all the politics that were involved in it. All that stuff was kind of cool. Now let me ask you this: do you agree with this? Do you think that she screwed herself over by not promoting her assistant to assistant conductor?
Assistant conductor, because it was that dude at first, right? And then didn't she bump him for the new hot young thing?
Well, tell you the truth, when she bumped him initially, I thought she was going to give it to her assistant, right? Mm-hmm. I thought that's why she was doing it, right? And then people started, I felt like people started talking about, impropriety and how, it might be inappropriate to do that and stuff like that. And then I felt like she switched it up. That was when she was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. And I'm going to start interviewing. Get me a list of people we can interview. Of course, add your name to the list. But then she didn't give it to her. I totally think... I was like, what? So now you want to avoid the optics of giving your assistant this role?
Yeah.
And I don't think it makes... And I don't even think there's anything wrong with that. You already made her your assistant. Mm-hmm. She seems perfectly capable, absolutely capable to do the job she was doing. It seemed to me like she probably would have been fine being the assistant conductor. So why not just give her the role?
She wanted that hot piece of ass, right?
No, but the hot piece of ass didn't have anything to do with it.
The celloist, wasn't it? That was the celloist.
The cellist was.
Never mind.
Yeah, that was when she picked the accompaniment song, the accompaniment piece, specifically because it was a piece that the hot new cellist already knew and was already a fucking beast at. You know what I mean? And so when she, conducted rehearsals, sure enough, she fucking blew it out of the water and everyone chose her. You know what I mean? And so I just thought it was dumb that she didn't give her the job when that was the whole point. And ultimately, she canned the guy because she didn't like him, but also because he was giving shitty advice and nobody agreed with him.
He was,
know what I mean?
Yeah,
he was, and no one agreed with that. And she was like, maybe he's got to go. And while it sucks, but in roles like that, in creative, big, heavy roles like that, I can see why she might want to get rid of him. And he's kind of old and she probably wants some new blood in, but also she wants to give it to the fucking her assistant. And then she didn't do it. And what the fuck? Do you think that the assistant leaving is what kind of sparked the video to be sent out? Do you think she...
Well, the assistant had all the tea, right? Had all the dirt, knew everything. I mean, in the film, that's when everything really...
She disappeared completely. No one could get in touch with her. So it made me think that she was the one.
That's what I took away. That she was
fucking pulled... She probably already had that shit because she probably, saw the writing on the wall and was pulled the trigger to actually send it out. But it was fucked up. I will say. It was fucked up because I actually completely agreed with her when she was, telling that kid. And she did I thought it was he was like, you're a fucking bitch. And I was like, fool, you're a fucking bitch.
Oh, with the kid. I was like, was it Mozart because he's a cis male or?
Yeah, she doesn't like Beethoven. He doesn't like Beethoven. Yeah. He can't really, get behind Beethoven because he's a
white male cis composers. Just not my thing.
Don't be so eager to be offended. The narcissism of small differences leads to the most boring conformity.
He's a BIPOC pangender person he can't get behind him because of his misogyny. And she goes on this whole rant, but ultimately she did what I thought was a very well-pointed rebuttal to that.
All right, everyone. Using Max's criteria, let's consider Max's thing. In this case, Anna Thorvaldsdottir. Now, can we agree on 2 pieces of observation? 1, that Anna was born in Iceland, and 2, that she is, in a Waldorf teacher kind of way, a super hot young woman. Show of hands. All right, now let's turn our gaze back to the piano bench up there and see if we can square how any of those things possibly relate to the person we see seated before us. Where are you going?
You're a fucking bitch.
And you are a robot. I mean, unfortunately, the architect of your soul appears to be social media. You want to dance the mask, you must service the composer. You got to sublimate yourself, your ego, and yes, your identity. You must, in fact, stand in front of the public and God and obliterate yourself.
I was like, fool, get the fuck out of here. I was like, you're a fucking little pansy. I'm sorry, but dude, you gotta have a thick skin in that department.
That right there for me, again, going to rewrite the movie. Not really, but kind of. I want to see a movie like that. I haven't even seen Whiplash, but I get a feeling that Whiplash is the interaction between the teacher and the students, right?
Whiplash is amazing.
That tense atmosphere, the up and comers, right? Her teaching them, and then different generations clashing about what they think is art and music. I'm more compelled about that than her infidelities and
absolutely.
That's just that feels like cheap whatever soap opera shit. This is really you could get into it and really make it a character piece and tell stories that we haven't seen before in a world we haven't seen that much of, right?
Well, what I will say though, I really think what's an interesting thing is the separation of the art from the person, and how you'll still hear fucking Michael Jackson playing, even though it's pretty well reported that he was a child molester. But R. Kelly, I don't even think you can find R. Kelly on fucking Apple Music. You know what I mean? You won't hear that shit anywhere, which I find a shame because I love the remix to Ignition. Anyways, but and so. It's just
or do you not watch a Roman Polanski movie?
Yeah,
do you not watch Chinatown because did they confirm that he raped someone? But the reason he left the fucking country because if he ever comes back, he'll be arrested.
Yeah.
So do you disregard his art? Can you remove the art from the man? And I think that is an important conversation, and that could have been a centerpiece of this fucking movie.
Absolutely, it could have.
And they did with that scene. It should have continued on. We should have had a whole movie where we're getting into that.
We didn't hear anything about that scene until way later.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's the whole thing. They could have, in today's society, they could have canceled her without even editing the fucking video. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If they wanted to, enough people saw that shit, there's plenty of people out there who would be just as offended by what she did say as that kid. You know what I mean?
In a weird way, the last 30 minutes felt rushed.
Yeah.
When her career started to go down, really, it just fucking collapsed, right? Every scene was just decimation and, she goes back to America and then she's in
the end was so fucking good, though.
Was that
she shows
Disney,
up to
Disney
she shows
theater?
up to Thailand or something or someplace and she's talking, she sees the players and she's like, what what did the conductor intend? What is their intent in this piece? So like she walks out, she does everything. She goes like this, and then you see like screens come down, and then she starts playing, and you hear like, in a world where there are monsters, like we boarded ships to go across the ocean. And then it cuts to the audience, and it's a bunch of fucking nerds in cosplay, like watching the fucking. It's like Disney, like it's like the shitty version of like Lion King at the Hollywood Bowl or something like that. It's, oh my god, it was so funny. I thought it was classic. But I don't know.
Oh, wait. At the end, Lydia conducts the score for the video game series Monster Hunter in front of an audience of cosplayers. You're totally right. That's what it is. But yeah.
So funny. It was so good, dude. Oh, shit. I thought that was the funniest fucking thing. I was dying when that happened.
But that would have been tragic if the movie had really presented her side. Like you said, there were points that we agreed with. It should have been difficult to not like her. And I feel like the movie didn't try to make us like her at all. If anything, it didn't have a pulse. Everything was just cold. How cool would it have been when we really were talking about she's an asshole. She cheats on her wife. She's not a good mother, but she's brilliant. How much does that matter when it comes to her art? And do we get rid of her if she's not this perfect vessel outside of her art? Does it matter?
You know, they never showed her actually cheating on her wife.
Yeah.
They never once showed her actually cheating at all. Mm-hmm. It was always these slightly inappropriate relationships. And I don't even know if she did cheat on her wife. I always think it was more of she just enjoyed the like flirting and the power and the like, you know, that interaction with people where there was nothing truly inappropriate ever happened, but it was still, you could tell that inappropriate, there was some sort of impropriety.
Was it the celloist? The hot young piece? And it felt like she stayed the night with her, that one night, and then she went on a trip with her, right? But as her assistant, wasn't it her? And then around about the time the downfall began, she was like distancing herself from Cate Blanchett, and she was like, "Well, I'm going to bed." And Cate Blanchett came out her room for whatever reason, and she was like dressed up to go to a fucking nightclub, whatever. Like was she? Yeah, like it was her. She realized that she wasn't going to bed. She was going out, but just without her, because she wants to.
I don't remember that part, actually.
Be a part of her world anymore. And then she dropped her off. There's a weird sequence. What is she? Was that a dog?
It was a dog. Yeah, it was like a weird looking dog. And like,
do you understand what that symbolized at all? Or
I don't know, man. Just like
she ran and then she fucking hit her face on a
fucking dunk. I was like, serious? Like, pick your feet up. Like
that jump cut was nice though. With the
I thought it was
like cutting board.
Yeah, I thought it was funny though. It's like I don't understand people who just fall and like don't put up their hands to like protect their face. Like, how does you make it all the way to the ground without bringing up your hands to protect your face?
If her hands is the most precious commodity, does she not endanger her hands though?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I was kind of hoping that that's what was going to happen. That the crunch you hear when she falls was going to be her hands. Was going to be one of her hands.
She pulls a Stephen Strange and I can't. Like,
yeah, exactly. I thought that would have been more compelling than her face.
She goes to Shangri-La and learn the mystic arts. I would have been down with that twist. I would have perked up. Oh wait, Tar. This is what it's about. She's the next Sorcerer Supreme. I think it's one of those movies. Some people, I think, genuinely love this movie. I think some people feel like I should love this movie. If I don't like it, there's something wrong with me, and I want to feel like
just idiots.
I can understand, complex things.
Fuck off. You're an idiot.
I love complex movies. With the best of them, I just felt like It's there. Like in our conversation, we've talked about a more intriguing movie.
Yeah.
And the pieces are there.
I just like I said, I just don't know why it took forever for it to happen. You know what I mean? Like,
it's pretension, dude. I'm a hold back.
Oh, we didn't bring up the accordion. The accordion, dude.
Oh, when she's playing the accordion. Yeah. Again, not to belabor the point, the last 30 minutes was such a speed run to her downfall. Mm-hmm. I would have loved to see that erratic behavior escalate throughout the movie.
So one thing I want to know, so when her book goes missing, her performance score towards the end of the movie, pardon me. She had her performance score and she couldn't find it.
Even talking about Tar makes you sleepy.
Yeah, right. And she couldn't find it, and she calls. She's like, "Hey, is it there?" Blah blah blah. Did they like take that shit and give it to the other conductor? You think? Do you think that's where her book went?
Because she does punch that motherfucker. She sneaks up stage, punches him, and this is my work. You stole it. So I guess. I really didn't connect that because by that point I was so fucking over it.
Checked out.
But now that you say it, it makes sense. For her to have that intense reaction, like she literally ran on stage and not just once, several times punched the conductor who was her buddy, right?
I thought she just checked him off the thing. Oh, then when he gets up, she punches him. Right.
Or maybe twice. She checks him. That she definitely made knuckle contact. I think you're right. But at that point, it's confusing. Just because she's canceled or because she said she hadn't finished it yet, right? Was that the thing? Like,
hadn't finished what?
Her work.
Well, this is the whole thing. So there's like, I think she said there are like 8 pieces. Like there's 8 pieces in this like series that this one composer created. And she did all 8 except for the 5th one because that's the hardest one. That's the biggest one.
That's what she set up in the beginning in her interview.
And yeah, right? And so she was saving that for last, and then it got canceled because of the pandemic, and then she was just about to do it, and sure enough, like, 3 weeks before, and they fucking cancel her ass, and she can't do it. I mean, it's pretty tragic, when you think about it, but ultimately you don't care about her. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. It should be tragic, but I felt nothing.
Yeah.
It's not Cate Blanchett's fault. Like, it's the script and the director. I think it felt like one of those films, I can do that, but that'll be too easy. And I don't want to spoon feed the audience. So the jogging, and then she hears a woman scream, that symbolizes fill in the blank. Remember that little moment?
Yeah.
She's jogging and she hears a woman scream. She runs out off into the woods and then it just cuts away to a different scene. Like, there was a lot of scenes like that. It's like,
what's the point of this?
It felt like a film that fell on the floor and shattered, and they reassembled it however best they could, and it wasn't necessarily in the right order, but I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it was
Hey, if you're out there and you love Tar, I'm just a fucking moron. I'm a country boy who,
No.
Maybe that's it. I'll speak for myself.
You have a perfectly valid response and a perfectly valid reaction to this movie because it's pretentious.
Yeah.
It is absolutely pretentious. It reeks of pretension.
Yeah, and they did have a full credit scene at the end too.
Yeah. Full credit scene at the end after having credits at the beginning. Like, if they would have just ended it,
that's what I thought was going to happen.
I would have been like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But then it goes to credits. I'm like, what the fuck? We sat through this shit already. You know what I mean? If you're gonna make me sit through it at the beginning, don't expect me to sit through it again at the fucking end. They didn't do that before.
Maybe he was trying to, you're waiting for the curtain to rise and the orchestra to start. What do you call it? The opening, not even the opening, where everything's being tuned. You have to be patient and wait for the movie. I was trying to figure out why. The director's making a conscious decision to have that long-ass credits sequence in the beginning, running in reverse. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's what he wanted. But then when they had a regular credit scene at the end, I'm like, now you're just taking a piss.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what I just said, I was giving you artistic allowance, but now you're going to slap it on the end too?
Fuck
off.
Yeah, fucking get out of here, dude. Well, I will say, though, that cellist, she looked like a freaking doll. Like, she looked like a porcelain doll. I will say that.
She was an attractive lady.
I liked how pale she was. She was just, like, white as shit.
Handprints will show.
Yeah. She turns purple when she gets
Not
cold.
on her face. I meant her ass. Maybe I'll cut that out. I just realized I said that. It's like I could be a fucking woman abuser. You'll see that I've been there.
Oh, man.
Spill my omelet.
Oh, wait. We didn't talk about the fucking... Oh, shit. The one other thing we need to talk about is when she goes to Thailand and she's like, hey, I want to get a massage. Like, I need a massage. She wants, like, an actual massage. And they send her to a fucking... like a whorehouse, basically, like a rub and tug place. And she was sitting there and she just like, they were like, what do you mean pick? They're like, pick the number, pick the one you want. And she's like, and then she goes and like throws up on the outside. And it's just like, what do you think that was speaking to, Troy?
Do you know? What's the fucking point?
I don't know. But I mean, I think it speaks to the fact that, well, like she's sort of a
does it represent what she's been doing?
She's sort of exactly
using young girls,
and she's like, wow, now it's like brought to like
she's been doing it at a very high society level where it's refined. It's not anything low, but if you reduce it down to what it actually is.
You boil it down, you get, this is the distilled version of what she's been doing, and she's like, this is awful, and she feels horrible about it.
I think it has to be that because, or else it serves no purpose, right? So,
yeah.
I did like, since we're talking about that part where most of the movie happens, most of the plot, I should say, but she goes back home. Is she in Jersey or New York or whatever?
Oh, man.
And
some fucking awful house.
Is that her brother, I think?
Yeah, I think that's her brother.
And you just see
Mom
her
said
roots.
You'd be back.
Yeah, where she came from. And I think that's where the tragedy really hit. Because she's looking at old VHS tapes that she recorded as a little girl, probably. Or
what made her want to be a conductor.
The dream on those, staticky VHS tapes, and she starts to cry. I wish at that point I gave a shit about her.
Yeah.
Because that would have been heartbreaking. Like, and a car crash driven by someone you don't want them to crash the car, but it's inevitable, right? Like,
right.
And you can't defend them completely, but you want to defend them. One last point. They've made it really seem like conductors are like, would people really give a shit? Maybe in the world of conducting.
In that world? Absolutely. What are you, crazy?
But
absolutely, man.
To the point where she would have to fucking conduct the orchestra for Monster Hunter? Like,
dude, I think ultimately, like, they just didn't want her around anymore. Like, she was completely blacklisted.
I tell you the best thing about this movie.
What?
The fucking poster. Have you seen the poster for Tar?
That poster is fucking amazing.
That poster's fucking phenomenal.
That poster is fucking amazing. Like, that's absolutely.
And Blanchett, she really got into it with the, there was one that she was doing like the Running Man. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, she's into it.
Like, goddamn.
You want to rate this? I don't know. What else you want? You want to say anything else, or you ready to rate this?
Yeah, we'll rate it. You rate it first. I want to hear your rating first.
Shit. Jesus.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to think of a funny rating. I'm trying to think of something amusing that I could.
I know.
Oh, you know what? I'll give it a 2.
Ooh. Ouch.
2 out of 5 cosplaying orchestral performances.
Nice. I'm going to give it 2.5 terrified little German girls being chastised by Cate Blanchett.
That was a good part.
Yeah, I forgot we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, like, see, the movie had the little moments where it's like,
yeah,
that I like that. That's a moment.
Yep.
Let's peel it back. Let's peel it back. They just refused.
Yep.
Like, you know, just peeling back a little bit. Nope. I'll give you a little bit of peek of thigh. Nope. Tee-hee. Stop teasing me, movie. I got blue balls over here. I wonder some action. But no, movie wouldn't give it to you. It's to the very end.
No, it would not.
And then it's like, hurry, come on, get it, big boy. It's over. That's how it felt. See, I was conducting the review right then.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
So if you would like to support this show, keep us going, keep us rolling along, uploading content, you can support us by going to patreon.com/baldguysbadmovies and donate to the show. We're going to use those funds to make sure we can see any movies that you guys want to see and getting our studio set up so we can start recording video and doing these not just audio but also video on YouTube. And once a month, we will pick a patron to choose a movie for us to review. And we'll review it. We'll dedicate it to you. But either way, we just hope you enjoy the show and keep on coming back.
Hurry, come on, get it, big boy.
It's hard. It's really long.